Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
To customize your company's sales settings, click the Gear button. Then click the Account and Settings link under the Your Company section of the drop-down menu to open an Account and Settings window. The 6 different categories of company settings appear in the menu at the left side of the screen. They are Company, Billing and Subscription, Sales, Expenses, Payments, and Advanced. Click the Sales Settings link in this menu to show the individual category settings at the right side of the window. The Sales Settings category contains the Customize, Sales Form Content, Products and Services, Messages, Reminders, Online Delivery, and Statements sections. There is a pencil icon at the right side of each section, with the exception of the Customize section, that you can click to edit the settings in each section. The Customize section contains a Customize Look and Feel button. When clicked, it opens the Custom Form Styles page. This page is where you can create customized forms, which is discussed in a later chapter. You can also click the Gear button and then choose the Custom Form Styles link in the drop-down menu to also open this page. The Sales Form Content section lets you choose the default settings for sales forms. Use the Preferred Invoice Terms drop-down to set the date by which you want invoices paid. Use the Preferred Delivery Method drop-down to set the default delivery method for sales forms. Checking the Shipping checkbox will enable shipping fields in sales forms. When enabled, it adds the fields Date, Tracking Number, Destination, and Subtotal to sales forms. The Custom Fields section lets you add custom fields to sales forms. To add a custom field, type a field name into the next available blank field. To the right of the field name are 2 checkboxes, Internal and Public. Checking Internal makes the contained information only visible in QuickBooks, and checking Public puts the information in sales forms. Checking the Custom Transaction Numbers checkbox lets you set invoice numbers. If unchecked, QuickBooks assigns invoice numbers. Checking the Service Date checkbox adds a service date field to sales forms. This helps if you have service dates that differ from the invoice date. Checking the Discount checkbox adds a discount field to sales forms. Checking the Deposit checkbox adds a deposit line to sales forms. This helps when a customer makes a payment against the total amount due. When finished, click the Save button to save your settings. In the Products and Services section, if the Show Product Service column on Sales Forms checkbox is checked, it adds a Product Service column to Sales Forms, which lets you pick from your list of products and services. This lets you keep track of the products and services sold. If enabled, you can then check the Show SKU column checkbox to add a SKU column to Sales Forms. Checking the Track Quantity and Price or Rate checkbox adds a quantity and a rate field to Sales Forms. Checking the Track Inventory Quantity on Hand checkbox lets you keep track of the products you have remaining for sale and their inventory costs. When finished, click the Save button to save these settings. The Messages section lets you build a default email message for the different sales forms you use. There are several options available. The first option is to use a greeting. To use a default greeting, check the checkbox and then select the greeting from the drop-downs that are available. Next, you can assign to which forms to use a custom message. Each form can have a different message of your choice. Alternatively, you can click the Use Standard Message button to use a standard message instead. Under Subject, you can then enter a default subject line. Then enter the message to send into the Email Message field. Check the Email me a copy at email address checkbox to send copies of all sales forms to your email address. You can also send CC or BCC copies of new invoices you create to email addresses that you enter into the Copy CC New Invoices to Address or Blind Copy BCC New Invoices to Address fields. The Sales Form drop-down lets you enter a default message that appears on sales forms. Use the drop-down to select either Estimate or Invoices and Other Sales Forms, and then enter the message to use for each. Click the Save button after changing your settings to save them. The Reminders section lets you create the default email message sent for invoice payment reminders. Like the messages, you can set a default greeting by checking the Use Greeting checkbox. If checked, then select the greeting from the drop-downs that are available. To use a standard message, click the Use Standard Message button. To create a custom message, type a subject into the Subject field. Then enter the Reminders message into the Email Message field. In either the Subject or the Email Message fields, you can click the Insert Placeholder drop-down to insert either the invoice number or the customer's company name into the place where your insertion marker is currently located. You can check the Email Me a Copy at Email Address checkbox to send reminder copies to the email address. Then click the Save button after changing your settings to save them. The Online Delivery section lets you choose the email options for sales forms. You can check the Attach Sales Form as PDF checkbox to email the sales form as a PDF. If checked, you can then choose either the Show Sales Form Summary in Email or Show Sales Form Details in Email option button to choose the level of sales form detail to show in the email. The Email Options for Invoices drop-down lets you choose the email format used to send sales forms. The Attach Invoices PDF checkbox lets you attach an invoice as a PDF. When finished, click the Save button to save your settings. The Statements section lets you choose how much information appears in customer statements. The List Each Transaction as a Single Line option shows each transaction as one line. The List Each Transaction including all detail lines option includes all the detail lines for each transaction. Checking the Show Aging Table at bottom of statement checkbox adds the amount your customer owes by the number of days past due to the statements. Clicking the Save button saves your settings. To close the Accountant Settings window, click the Done button in the lower right corner or click the X button in the upper right corner when you are finished.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.